Because you are dead. You are a corpse of a star that don't want to disappear. You were fusing elements for so long that now you made your heart full of iron. And you made it by your own hands. And that's just one aspect of your story. But as I look at you, I can still see the scars the supernova left behind. That scars made me think what you were. And then I searched for the answers. I went light years away from you, and I looked at the light you once sent in the universe. I saw your past. And this is what I have found. You are not always a neutron star. You were bigger than our sun, way bigger. When you were young, you used to take lighter elements and fuse to heavier one. You fused and fused for millions of years, and suddenly you made iron, and that was the same iron that made your heart. You crafted the thing that will lead you to your end. It was supposed to generate energy, but it ate it all. And that stopped the pressure that was supposed to keep you alive. That pressure fought your gravity, and it was the fight of millions of years. At the end, that life-saving pressure lost, and gravity crushed your heart while you were alive. You felt your heart burning under the heat of 100 million Kelvin. It felt like someone tried to melt your heart away. This forced the most fundamental particles of you, electrons and protons, to give birth to neutrinos. They combined together to give you some ease. They were so many that they took away 99% of your collapse energy when they escaped. But your heart became as dense as atomic nuclei. Now, the gravity wanted to make you kneel. It intensified its gaze. But this time, another war emerged. Neutron fought the gravity, and with the help of strong nuclear force. This war was so grand that shock waves were sent to speak its grandness. But these shock waves too met their devastating end. They collided with outer layer which was falling. And neutrinos add some more fuel to this collision, and it became the most significant event of your life. And the event was the core collapsing supernova. It was an enormous blast, a death which was meant to give you the life of a black hole. But the end was completely different. The universe witnessed the unusual birth of the strongest but the most devastated celestial being, stretching across just 20 kilometers wide. This was the past I saw. But why should I stop here? Why should I not talk about how you are now? You once had an atmosphere stretching across billions of kilometers, but what it remained of it now is just 10 centimeters of it. You had enough hydrogen for millions of years to come, but now you are at the mercy of your companion star. But your gravity is still merciless. It stripped the outermost layer of that star and gives it to you. You wear it as your dead crown. But that crown also will be sacrificed to the fusion. But one thing that nobody has and you only got is a vacuum atmosphere. Although it is just for few centimeters, because then your gravity takes effect. And the heat from your heart is still so hot that at your surface you rip electrons and atoms apart that makes substance called ionic plasma. This is just what you look like from the outside. But there is more to you than your looks. And that's why I peeked inside your hidden dimension. You have an outer crust, which is just below the atmosphere, and all the ionic atomic nuclei resides here, which are arranged in specific shape, which humans call the rigid crystal lattice. Here, you have so immense pressure that it rips the atoms and electrons apart, and those electrons forms the cloud. And those electrons are moving at the speed reaching speed of light. The environment is so abnormal here that neutrons start stripping out of atoms and start to flow freely. And this makes what we call the inner crust. At this depths, I found a fluid in your inner crust that flows like there is no friction, and it was made of neutron-rich nuclei, free neutrons and electrons that made this fluid called the superfluid. And they are also behind the phenomenon called the pulsar glitches, which causes sudden increase in your rotation speed. But this just does not end here. In the depths of your inner crust, there is an ongoing battle. It's the battle between the strong nuclear force and electromagnetic force. Strong nuclear force wants the proton and neutron to become a dense clump. And electromagnetic force does not want protons to be near each other. And then your gravity enters this fierce battle and wanted to make them summit with its pressure. The pressure squeezed them so hard they almost came in contact, and then they decided to give up their shape. Not because they lost, but to become much more denser, much more stronger. They became the strongest material in the universe, the nuclear pasta. At first, they were just isolated spherical nuclei, and we humans named them gnocchi. These spheres then blended into long cylindrical rods. We called it spaghetti. Then the rods get flattened into parallel sheets called lasagna. As gravity keeps squeezing the matter, the flat layers change their shape once again. They became tiny hollow tubes instead of solid sheets, creating a phase scientists call bucatini. Finally, the matter became an intricate three-dimensional sponge-like network that we call it the Swiss cheese. All of these were happening because of increasing pressure at different depths of the inner crust. Till now, we talked about the atmosphere. We talked about the crust and even about the pasta. But now, it's about time to talk about your heart. That heart which still burns. As I look into your heart, I look at the outer core. I see the dense liquid of neutrinos which has sprinkles of protons and electrons to maintain electrical neutrality. This place inside of you is so tense that the matter here is present in such states that can't even be produced on the earth. There is neutron superfluid and superconductor made of protons. But there was also a separate abyss hiding beneath the outer core. It is so mysterious that us humans think that there can be so many forms of matter present here that present nowhere in the universe. We think that there can be quark matter, which is something that made up of up, down, or even strange quarks. It is even speculated that here you have exotic particle called hyperons, or even Bose-Einstein condensate, which we can't even recreate in our own labs, and you keep them in your heart. At the end, this is what you are. This is your identity. You were a mighty star who illuminated light years, had the gravity to whip the stars and planets across light years. But now what remains is your frail body, trying its hardest to survive its own gravity. And that gravity made you something so strange that even when universe looks at you, it wonders to look at you as the greatest creation or its strangest creation. Now, I will end this biography of yours with a quote. Your death is and will be your new life.